Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we are going to explore how to set up lazy loading in Angular. So we use lazy loading to optimize our Angular application's performance. By the end of this video, you will understand what lazy loading is, why it's important, and how do we implement it in our Angular application. So let's get started. So we've come to the official Angular documentation. So first question which comes is like, what is lazy loading exactly? So lazy loading is just a design pattern in Angular which allows us to load modules in a specific way, like when they are exactly needed we load them, and we don't just load all of them as soon as our Angular app loads. So instead of loading all the application module at the startup, like at the beginning of our application, we load like some certain module which we know we only want when user goes to that specific route or page. So doing that is basically called lazy loading. Implementing lazy loading have a lot of benefits. One of them is like it improves our performance, as we will reduce the initial load time, as we'll split the modules in smaller bundles, so that will help us to improve our application's performance. And then most importantly, it provides us with a really good user experience because user can interact with the app much faster, right? Okay, now let's see how we can implement lazy loading in action. So we'll go to our VS Code. So if you don't have an Angular project already set up, you can create one by using ng-new, your Angular project name, using the command line terminal. Once you've done that, we will start creating our modules for lazy loading. So first thing which you need to do is you need to generate modules, right? And components. So you'll keep those components in those specific module which you want to lazy load. I'll show you just by an example. So for example, we can have two feature modules. One of them would be an admin, other would be a user. Now we would want to load both of these things as a lazy load. Like whenever our application load, we don't want to load both of them. Only when we go to, for example, our admin path, we want to load it. And if we go to our user path, then only we want to load user module. So I'll show you how to do that. First thing we'll do is we will create a module. So we'll say ng generate module, and we will say it would be admin routing. I'll also explain you what this means. So once we do this, it will generate a admin routing module for us, which you can see here in the admin section. And we have admin routing.module.ts file. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to create our component. So we will say ng gc, inside our admin folder, we will create a admin dashboard. Now this will create an admin dashboard component here inside our admin module here. So inside the admin folder, we have our admin routing and our admin dashboard. Same we will do for our user as well. Okay. So this would be user. Okay. Routing like this. So this routing flag I'm using while I'm creating my routing module. So basically these flags here, it create a separate routing module. Okay. That's why we are using this. And once we press this, we'll also have our user module here. You can see this one. So you got user routing.module, and now we will repeat the same command for user dashboard. So we'll say ng gc, and this time inside user folder we will create user dashboard. Now here we have this as well, right? So we have got our admin dashboard with routing setup, and same for user as well. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so now next thing we need to do is we need to set up routes for lazy loading. Okay, so we'll go to our app routing.module.ts, which is the main routing file, this one. Okay, and inside this we will set up our lazy loading. So here first thing we'll do is we'll create our routes, and inside this now we will create routes for our both admin and our user. Okay, so like this we have a path, and whenever the path is admin, we want to load children. So load children basically specifies the module which you want to load lazily, right? So this is the syntax for that, and basically we use arrow brackets here, and we will load that specific module we want to lazy load. So using this route, so whenever user is going to this route, we want to do lazy loading for this specific path, whatever file there is, like that module. Okay, so we'll say here dot slash, and we want to go to admin and admin module. So we want to lazy load our admin module. Okay, and after then we'll use dot then. Okay, once we do this, so inside this, whatever module we have, we want to do m dot admin module. Okay, so this admin module is our module which we want to load lazily. So this is the lazy loading syntax which we need to follow if we want to lazy load our admin module. We need to give the path and we need to load that module once it finds the path. Okay, that's it. And we need to do the same for our user module as well. So I'll copy this and I'll say here user, and this one would be user and user dot module, and this would be m dot user module, right? Now after I've done this, I'll also define our default route, like when basically the user doesn't define a path and he loads an empty path. So for example, when the path is empty and at that time we want user to redirect to /user, okay, like this, and we will say path match and we want to match it to full. Cool. And we'll also define one more property which is wildcard route. So basically if user writes some path which doesn't exist, then we want the user to go to that specific path. So for that we'll say asterisk, and this means that if user goes to any undefined path which doesn't exist here, then we want user to redirect to /user. Okay, so that is all here in terms of setting up our routes in our app routing.module.ts file. Okay, so this we have basically configured our routes to enable lazy loading. So if user goes to these routes, lazy loading should be in place. Okay, now another thing we need to make sure is we are not eager loading our modules. So we need to go to our app module.ts file here. Okay, and inside this we need to make sure that we are not importing our admin module and user module here. So if we search here admin module, yeah, I don't see anything, so this is fine. But if you have admin module or user module here, or whichever module you want to lazy load, you need to remove it from here, because if they are here they would load right as soon as your application is made. So we need to remove them, otherwise our lazy loading won't work. Okay, once you've done that, we need to go into our feature modules. So feature modules are the one which we want to lazy load, right? So one of them is our admin, another is user. So here inside the admin module, we will go admin routing.module.ts. Okay, so now here we need to configure our routes. So once the user is to this module, right, we are gonna say that we will define some routes here. So for this, inside this, I will say I only have one path for now, which is that empty path. So basically if user is here on the admin path, this would be empty. Okay, and our component which we want to show is admin dashboard component. Okay, now the same thing we will do into our user module as well, which is our another feature module. So inside the user module here, we will go to routing module, and the route we will define another path, this one for user. And basically when our path is user path, which is this empty here, that time we want to show our user dashboard component. Okay, so you see what we've done. So each feature module has basically they have its own routing module configured, right, which is this one, router module.for child routes. So the empty path here, this empty path, this indicates the default component for that module. So whenever the path is like empty here, it means the default component of the module, which is our user dashboard component, that will basically load. Okay, so now the next and final step we need to do is we need to go into our app component.html. So to finally use a navbar and so that user can go to these paths. Okay, so here I will have a h1 tag and I'll say demo. Okay, and here I will have nav links. Inside those nav links I'll put to anchor ref. Okay, I'll say this one like router link. So my router link would be /admin, and I'll copy this, put it here, and this one would be /user. Okay, whenever user goes to this specific path, we want to load our admin and user dashboard. So board, right? So that's it. Now we have our nav link set up as well. So this navigation link will take our user to different routes, and this router link will make sure to do that, basically binding our link to the specific user routes. Okay, and make sure you have router outlet at the end, which will make sure to route your components. Okay, now we can go into our application and test our lazy loading. So we'll do ng-serve to run our application. Once we have done that, we will go to our local host here, and inside that you can see the user dashboard and admin dashboard, both of them are here. So we'll click on inspect and we will go to our network tab. So once we refresh our application here, and we are automatically on the user, because that's how we define, right, that when user is basically loading the application, which is nil path, it will go to user. So you can see here we have our user module loaded here, this one, right? So you see here we have only our user module loaded here because we are on currently user path. You don't see the admin module here, right? Because user is not on the admin module currently. So that is what lazy loading has done. It has created our module into two separate chunks, which is user and admin. But you'll see once we go to our admin dashboard, so I've removed all of them just to make it clear to you. As soon as we go to admin dashboard and we click here, you will see that we have our admin module loaded here, which is this one. So both of our modules are loading correctly. Okay. So that's it. That's how you set up lazy loading in your Angular application. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Angular content like this. I will see you guys in the next video.